Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
I made it.
Hey, Joel. Or Noel. Joel. I'm going to get there one of these days.
Yeah, it's okay. It's Noel Putaansuu, like you're putting on a shoe. Because no one can spell my name like you got a name like mine.
Yeah.
So you can't spell that one right the first time.
Yep. I worked with Joel for Joel for the last 12, 18 months. So when someone shows up with an Owl, it's just going to be Joel in my head for a while.
That's okay. Yeah, I go by Noel, Joel. Doesn't matter if you're referring to me and you're handing me a beer. I don't care what you say.
Just call me late.
So yeah, I'm looking for a fractional CEO that will work for
Hey, Livio. Hello.
work for equity because I got the grants coming to an end. I went through an accelerator, and I don't think they like solo founders. The whole accelerator I was in was all solo founders, and it's kind of a not sure if anybody's going anywhere, but it was nice to be in an accelerator where everyone else was in a solo situation. But one of the guys picked up a CEO, and we all thought, "Yay!"
Yep.
Hello,
Livio.
Livio. Okay.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, just I keep saying I'm going to come to the 3 p.m. coffees, and I've been missing it for the last 3 weeks or something. But better late than never.
No worries.
I always seem to be busy on a Monday at 3 p.m. But here we are.
Busy's not
On a Monday at 3 p.m.
Yeah, busy's not a bad place to be.
No, I'm grateful that after I talked to you that one time, then I was like, I just needed that slight change of frame, right, or a slight update to my frame of mind to really be able to get in there. And that's thank you for sharing the story too.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes all it takes is just a little shift in how you approach it, how you describe it, how you present it to yourself. And then it's the thing that your customers are looking for they didn't know they needed.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, now we're here. Nice to meet you, Noel. I heard you're looking
Meet
for a
you.
fractional CEO for equity.
Well, yeah, I'm a patent holder, and I got a grant from the Department of Energy. It doesn't pay any money. I have to put a bunch of money in. I
Okay.
don't have my toys out here, but I measure smoke. I got a PI license. I'm a PI agency, but I don't want to do fire investigations anymore. I've done 2,000 fire investigations, and it's all people arguing. That's all it is. They're all advocates. So I mean, I'm still licensed as a PI, and I'm still certified as a fire investigator, and I'm still a fire expert. But I manage smoke. I manage fire inside.
This isn't something we're familiar with in Florida, so you have to explain this. And Livio's in Miami, so he has even worse problem with this.
Yeah, no, I know floods, winds, extreme heat, terrible drivers.
I've
else?
I've been in Florida twice in
Mhm.
August working on a roof when I did roof inspections.
Mm.
Not my favorite place.
Oh well, yeah, it's definitely probably not the greatest place when it comes to building codes and all this other stuff. So, give me 1 second. My kidneys might
Yeah, you're fine.
I think part of the problem, the challenge you'll face, Noel, is that most fractionals are busy building their business, and that business is not that of an investor, right? Where they're willing to and able to take equity. They've got to make money too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm always upfront about it too.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, there are a number of co-founder type meetup, co-founder dating, as I like to call them sometimes, because some of them are like speed dating, where you're bouncing around 5 minutes.
I've been on what's that? Y Combinator.
Mhm.
I've only found 1 or 2 people that I've had more than 1 or 2 sentences with. And so, yeah, I'm just not sure why Combinator is a good place to meet a founder when all they do is return a sentence or 2.
Uh,
It's
there was
it's definitely like a place for churn, a lot of churn, I think. Just because I mean, I've had friends who like have participated in some of their programs, and it's just a giant wheelhouse of people and founders, and you know, I've had more success like meeting local founders and people that need my work who are like willing to like start a business locally speaking. When I'm like, I know where to like find the entrepreneurship spaces and whatnot, and that's if you're looking for a co-founder, that's what I would highly recommend you do instead. But I don't know, it's just my
there,
experience.
I spent some time in some of co-founder labs. They've got some online sort of organized, semi-organized. I haven't followed them in a year or two, maybe two. But they had some networking events for getting co-founders together. Looking for a co-founder, co-founders looking for something to found, and then people with something looking for somebody to help them. So something like that might be useful. Um, but I am curious though. So why not bootstrap?
Well, I've been bootstrapping here for about 7 years.
Right.
I mean, I have 3 patents, and I've got 6 devices. I can measure smoke down to like 50 nanometers, but the scientists only say I can do it to 500 nanometers. So I'm arguing about the 500 to
Sure.
50, but they're not arguing. They're saying, no, you're really good right down to 100 nanometers. 100 nanometers, a nanometer is a billionth of a meter. So these are really small particles that no one can find. So we're arguing about something no one has seen.
Right.
Empirically speaking.
Well, I speak in theory, but the 2 PhDs I'm working with only allow me to do that. So I'll speak in theory, but they won't. They have to have sound basis for what they're saying. So we're heading the DOE grant's going to a peer review paper sometime in October. I submitted my monthly report, and I usually submit my monthly report, and I get nothing back. It's just the day of the meeting, I get a flurry of we've been working on this, and I get like 3 graphs from their months of work. That they're great to work with, but it's like that's all you did. But they're working on several things. I mean, Dr. Rapp is a National Science Lab director, so she has probably 20 some odd projects in addition to mine that she's working on. And she's a very sharp person, and I like working with her because she helped me with the proposal. And every time I sent her the proposal it got better, and I'd send it back, and it got better, and I'd work and it got better. Says I really like working with you. She says,
No,
"Oh,
I'm curious. From the perspective of the business owner looking for a fractional CEO.
Mhm.
yeah,
Because I haven't had the opportunity to talk to anyone in the fractional CEO space. Mostly I end up talking to people in fractional CTO space or various other sides of product engineering. Um, what what do you imagine that the role? How do you imagine that someone would come in and help you as a fractional CEO?
oh, well, that's a good question because I'm kind of a kooky character. I've been programming in C++ for a half day. I don't answer my phone. Um, I you know, I hate answering the phone. I like talking on the phone, and if I talk on the phone, I can't get back to C++ programming for about an hour.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
standard flow.
Yep. You
And,
sound like a CTO to me.
um, I got my C++ program working to this morning. It was some code I put in that inverted things. So it's working. I'm looking at a box that I made. So I make these little boxes that control a fan. And if you know anything about fire in a box, if you want to make the fire less exothermic reaction, you give it less air.
Mhm.
Now, if you want it bigger, you put more air in. And the key thing with managing fire in a wood stove is you always have to change the airflow. You can't have it a constant airflow for more than, let's say, 30 seconds or so. And and this is during the initial startup. And the reason is if you have flames, let's say the flames in a wood stove have an L length of 2 to 8 inches. If the flame lands on the wood and stays on that one spot, it powers over and doesn't release as much heat. So you want the flames moving all the time. And if you're watching a wood stove, you watch it because of the flames. I mean, I watch it because of the flames. When I can't sleep at night, I go sit in my chair, watch the flames, watch my algorithm work, and the cats join me. There's nothing like a wood stove and your pet to calm your nerves, because if the power goes out, my wood stove still works.
I have no idea what you're selling me, but you're definitely selling it.
We had a dog. We had a dog that loved. He would sleep up against the wood stove, and he would lay there and he would snuggle up against it. I grew up with wood stoves, so mom still today is an advocate of wood stoves. But he'd snuggle up against it or underneath it until his fur started to smolder. It's like, okay, the dog is burning again. Let's drag him out from under the stove.
And the fur is vaporizing.
Yes.
Yeah. I used to do
Smell
fire.
horribly.
I used to do fire testing next to steel doors, and it'll vaporize your hair on your head.
Yeah, I believe it. So the CEO role.
Back to the question.
So I mean, what do you imagine? What responsibilities in your business do you imagine the CEO taking?
Being this, keeping me sane. Perhaps saying, Noel, you probably should do some sales. Because I don't know. I've got friends. I'm done with friends being part of the business. Friends just seem to take and take and take and take, and they don't give back.
Fair.
So I don't. I have a good friend who's an MBA, but he's a salesperson, and he's got that always got to be talking type, convincing me of something, and I was like, no, that's not quite what I want. If I need to build a team, maybe I'm not the best person to build that team. I like working with people, but I mean, am I going to build a team that an investor wants to invest in? I'm not sure.
It sounds to me like, and this is mostly me kind of going out on a limb based on everything you're saying. It sounds to me that you need a partner. You're an inventor and a creator with a pretty awesome idea or set of ideas, and you need a partner that's going to help you go to market with them.
Yes.
That's probably a good assessment. Because I have the devices made. In other words, I'm working with my MVPs, and I'm giving people my prototypes. I don't want to sell them because there's a liability involved.
Mm-hmm.
And so crossing that, also licensing to manufacturers. I had one manufacturer, SBI, who I was talking to for a while. They wanted to license my patents exclusively. They got a new CEO, and it all stopped. So I'm not sure what happened, but the CEO made the decision not to license my technology. Now, I didn't like it because they were going to license it to not let anybody else use it. They weren't going to use it themselves. But still, that would have I could have moved on to something else.
So I know somebody. So let me give you a scenario and see if your inventions might be useful in this scenario. I know somebody who basically builds or create like designs, deploys, and manages a lot of like the building measurements So things like, the amount of heat that goes into a building through a different set of devices. Let's say they have an ice rink arena and they have to measure like the temperature and the amount of particles in the air to make sure that it stays fresh. Or like if there's a fire, they would need to where they had some sort of heating system, they would need to figure out, how much heat and air and let's say particles are in the air. Um, if I were to give you a connection to somebody like that, is that something that might be useful to you, right? In your context. I don't totally understand your product, but the way that you explain it to me, I think that would be the right kind of partnership and somebody who could help you not necessarily be your CEO because this person's already CEO, but I know he's somebody that buys businesses and somebody who might be interested in kind of who is adjacent in your space and
Yeah.
might find some use for your smoke, very incredibly precise smoke measuring device, smoke
Yeah.
measuring box.
Yeah. Wood stoves are my patents only apply to wood stoves.
Mm,
Yes, I do build what are called air transparency sensors,
mhm.
and I can the only problems right now is the sensors I'm using have a little bit of drift, but there's new sensors coming out that I can't get my hands on yet. But it's going to get better. The technology is going to get better. So there's two things that I measure really well. It is the brightness of the light and then the color of the light. And I'm really good at making stable light sources. So the whole thing works because I can make a stable light source. Then I've got sensors that measure that light. And then when things come in between, we no longer have the same color and the same brightness. We have a reduced color and a reduced brightness and a change in color. Now, right now, my optical benches are 6 inches because that's the chimney diameter. But I have made one that's 11 feet, 3.3 meters, and it does work. It's got a lot of drift. And one of the things I was working with a company on projecting lasers up to satellites. And there's a couple weather conditions where you can't do that. And it ties in with telescope people. So if you ever want to know when you can't use your telescope, when you can't see a satellite, you talk to the telescope people. They have all the terminology. They have all the gear. They know exactly what they're doing. And you just take some of that technology. It turns out I live west of the mountains, but right around what's called the Delaquent zone, which is where if there's enough water to make salt turn into a solution just out of the air, visibility takes a dive. So you can't run a laser up to a satellite in those conditions. So I told them to be east of the mountains on a mountain, but not west of the Cascades because our humidity is too high. That's what it is. If you measure the humidity really well, you'll know that above 80%, transmissions are unreliable. For an optical system like a laser. I mean, they were beaming gigabits on their laser. And if they couldn't transmit, they'd lose those packets and have to redo them. And that's what it was just a quasi thing. I was working with the accelerator and they were talking about this problem. I says, I can show you a lot of insight into that problem. So I made some longer ones and I have the technology to make these things. I make everything that I have 3D printers and CNC machines, so I can make things and I can program things. So yes, if someone wants me to make something, I'm game. Right now, the box communicates with the sensor communicates with the box, and I use what's called ESP now. I can broadcast about 75 feet, and it happens in about 2 milliseconds. So I pretty much got these ESP32s figured out. And I say that, and then I spend a day throwing some of them out because they didn't work. I mean, 2 days ago, I wouldn't have shown up to the meeting. I was going through ESP boards, I put the fourth one in and everything's working. So I'm thinking of changing suppliers. So So this is the board that I use right now. It's called a Wemos D1 R32, and the little silver thing on the bottom is what's called an ESP32.
Mm.
So this is a nice form factor because my big hands can get wires in here, and it'll take 12 volts and it'll broadcast for about 75 feet. And 75 feet, if you're on top of a chimney and you got a brick wall, you're pretty close to reaching the bottom of the wood stove. It's better than Bluetooth. Bluetooth didn't look like it was going to make it. Not reliable enough.
Wow. I'm very impressed by the amount of detail and clarity that you can explain all of this, because I had no idea any of this existed. First, I had no idea what a wood stove is. I had to look it up because I live in Florida. Uh, but then once you started explaining to me, it's like, oh yeah, I can see how this same technology will work with lasers. Yes.
One of the things that Noel mentioned previously when I talked to him was that, I guess, I don't know if it's Washington or Seattle, or where this regulation is, but there is some local regulation around particulate emissions from household chimneys.
Yes, the law states that you can't have more than 20% opacity for 6 consecutive minutes. Fines up to $1,000.
So it's important that the wood stove that you either sell or buy is capable of producing smokeless smoke, right?
Yeah, that gets complicated because the manufacturer is under a gravimetric standard. So they have to send them to a lab. They have to put it through what's called a dilution tunnel. So they put the hot gases up, then they dilute it with cold air. They get the particles cold enough so they can use all their instrumentation to they pull it through filters, and then they weigh the filters. If they have more than 2 grams per hour, they can't sell their wood stove. Now, once the wood stove is sold to the user, then the user is under the opacity standard. And there's not that many smoke police, but in areas where you have smoke problems, like Anchorage, not Anchorage, Fairbanks, then they can go out and look at a chimney and do what's called a Ringelmann method, which is ink blotches with different inks on it.
This is state by state regulation?
Yes. Yeah. For mainly the northern states. So it would be Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, North and South Dakota, and then the eastern states that I don't understand. But I'm a moderator of Reddit wood stoving with 105,000 users, and I'm often
joining right now.
What's that?
I'm joining right now. This is fascinating.
Because there's a lot of people who don't understand how wood stoves it can burn down your house if you're not. And guess how wood stoves tend to burn down your house? Just give me a guess, and I'll tell you.
The creosote accumulation.
That's one way. Okay, yeah. What do you got? I got to try your name out. Livio. What do you think would be if you have a wood stove? I've been to many of these houses while I was a fire investigator. What was the other thing that will get me called as a fire investigator to your house?
A crack that lets additional air into the stove, therefore bigger fires.
You know, that's a really good one. I didn't expect that one, but it's I think you're talking about the missing gasket. Yes, and yes, that does it. Usually,
that was just a shot in the dark, but
I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be improperly disposed ashes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because those are the sleeping giants that you scoop out the wood stove, you put it in the metal bucket, you set it on the deck next to the house.
No, you scoop out the wood stove, you put it in the metal bucket, you then take it and bury it in the garden where it's used as fertilizer while it's still hot.
Well, you've never had
everyone grew up in my house, I see.
You've never had me invited to your house. But when I get invited to the house, they skip the one step that I teach everybody is you got to have a 1 inch of water over the top of the ashes.
Yeah.
And then you set it out away from the house. But once you have the 1 inch of water on top of the ashes, I'm fairly comfortable you can put it next to your house. But I've got a YouTube channel called Smokeless Chimney where I go through a lot of. Let's see, on that one, yeah, I probably should do another one on that because
So for your products in this space, are you is this something that you would imagine a consumer purchasing to monitor, or in these states that are regulated, or is it just something you think manufacturers or investigators would purchase?
I'm thinking of partnering with chimney sweeps. And the reason is they are on the chimney, they're cleaning the chimney needs to be cleaned before my devices get put on. And then um my my octo rings starts out at 6 inches, 18 inches. That thing is I'm gonna be used for training and it trains the boxes. And then this thing would be a box. And then let me find a fan. Just here's So this gets plumbed into the wood stove. This one's made of oak, and I want these to be as quiet as possible, but it's something that it looks nice in your home. It's not plastic. I have plastic ones, but this is a nice piece of wood. I laser print some stuff on the back. Okay, so this fan will produce at maximum 10 CFM. For each CFM I put into a closed box, I can have a fire of 1.75 kilowatts. So maximum, this would have 17.5 kilowatts. Now, we're always adjusting the fan, but that's my safety factor. I can't overfire a stove. So I'm always measuring the temperature, and I'm using a non-contact sensor right now. That's what my system, my coding computer's over there, and I'm testing that one. You guys can't see that, but I keep looking over at it. But normally I use a thermocouple. Do you know what a thermocouple is?
No, I love to stay and just follow down this rabbit hole of wood stoves because I've never ever messed with heating systems, but I do have to go. I just want to say it was really nice to talk to you, and if I can help you anyhow, just shoot me a message. This is great. I love this.
Thanks, Lydia.
Have a good day, y'all.
Uh,
He's got a good personality as far as getting me to talk.
yep.
That, that's a, that's a ma- that's there are certain people that can get me to talk, and it sounded like he was interested the whole time. But yeah, I'm transitioning from a thermocouple, which this is something extra. It doesn't look good in your house, but it always measures really good. And I clamp these to the top of the wood stove. The here's one of the eye ones, and it's just got this little eye that you turn and look at the stove, and it works pretty good.
Just an infrared thermometer.
I would call it,
Or the thing that they market as an infrared thermometer. Let's call it that. Functionally.
lawn tractor at the end of the route. So my sprinkler is haywire. My wife just got home and she texts me that my sprinkler is. Could you turn it off? The other thing I'm kind of looking for is I'm always relying on my wife, who's a great English person. English, because I write articles, and the articles have 99% of the right words in the right sentences, but when she gets done, it's much better. She put a comma here, change one word over here, put a comma there, and she's really good. But getting her to do it takes 3 weeks.
Well, there's always ChatGPT and it's, friends, siblings.
I use AI a lot, and sometimes I just cannot stand what they do.
Oh, I get that. I get that.
Even with coding, it's like you're missing the one thing that I need. You're getting a lot. Yes, I agree with you on some of these things. But
sometimes it's very hard to get it to just edit and fix and proofread. And
well, yeah.
just fix the things that I missed. Don't rewrite the thing. So when we think about your co-founder and kind of what this role looks like, you're looking for someone to kind of tackle the go-to-market strategy, right? Figure out what that is, potentially actually implement it, because strategy and tactics are kind of two different pieces and not always in the same person.
Right.
And so because that's going to involve figuring out where in these states your buyers are, who your buyers are. Is it the chimney sweeps? Is it the manufacturers? Is it the customers themselves? What's your strategy around that, right? It maybe you have customers outside of those states, but the regulated states seem like a target.
Yes.
Bringing it Florida makes no sense.
Most of my product, I'm making most of my products for retrofit,
right?
But trying to find a well, here, if I got into one of those,
how many? There's only what 2 or 3 stove manufacturers left in the U.S. or that are producing stoves now, or is it bigger than that? I know it's been one for a long time.
Okay, so think about it this way: there's 13 million wood stoves. A wood stove lasts for 20 years, so only about 5% of the wood stoves are installed each year.
Right.
All the manufacturers.
Yeah, so you got 50, 80 years worth of wood stoves that you had to deal with potentially in retrofit.
Yes. So the idea is I can take an older wood stove and make it run better than a new stove. And you know what a wood stove install costs? Just throw a number out and I'll tell you what it costs.
I know what I would charge if I were doing it because I've done it 7 times.
Okay.
Lots.
What do you think if you're changing out an insert at a house? What do you think it would cost?
I mean, probably looking at $2,000-$3,000, I would guess. Maybe more if you got chimney work.
10,000.
10,000? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I did it for 7, but the stove itself is 4,500.
Then what I would have charged would have been fair because I probably would have been 15. So, but I can't charge my mom that.
Yeah. But the liner was probably $1,000, and then the install, the guys who actually came and can move the stove into position were probably $400. So I think I got mine for $750. But a typical wood stove installation, when I see bids of a $10,000, I'm saying if they're going to come out and actually do all that, that's a pretty good deal.
Right.
So my stuff, I'm looking at selling these boxes between $400 and $750. That's to the consumer, but I would probably sell them for $200-$300 to the actual wood stove person. And then the smoke system is just to train the box. It's only on there for a week or so, and I'll probably lease those to the wood stove installers, and they just put them on there. It trains the box. It saves the best parameters in the box. So from that point on, that wood stove burns as clean as it did when it had the smoke system on it. That's my vision. Actually achieving my vision, it appears that I can't do it alone.
Right.
Because there's a lot. I can write the code slowly, but I can write the code. I don't know anybody else that can write the code. I mean, I have to get these things built before I can actually code them. To test a fan.
Arguably, and I know you've been in John Seacrest's the open coffee before, so arguably you don't need to build it to sell it.
I build them to test them. Sure,
you're building it. You have to prove some concept. You have to make sure this is an achievable thing because physics, right?
Yeah.
But you've kind of, it sounds like you've gotten to the point where this works. You have your MVP, your absolutely minimum viable product. You know that this is something that can work. The next step is you have to go find somebody to buy it.
Yeah,
prove you can get it sold.
Yeah, that's exactly where I am.
And so all of the implementation from this point on, while it's fun and it's exciting, to keep experimenting with it, it doesn't move the business along, right? You've got to get out there and find your buyers, find the chimney sweeps, find the wood stove manufacturers, find the wood stove installers, whoever it is that are going to be your clients, that are going to be your buyers, and get them to buy from you. Like usually what you want to do is find a hero customer, right? The one who's like, I'll work with you through all the problems because your solution is so different from everything else in the market that I want you to succeed. We will work together.
If I could find someone who talks like that, I'd know it.
Right. And those are your that's not your co-founder though. That's your customer partner. Right. So are you talking to chimney sweeps? Are you talking to
I did talk to I went to a conference. I did talk to one. He introduced me to his boss. I had a brief meeting with him, ghosted me from there. So I'm doing something wrong.
Ghosting is only one response, right? Keep following up.
Yeah, I got some others, but at the same time, sales is not my thing. I like talking to people, but I know I say the wrong things at times. I mean, what am I at my core? A private investigator. So, and I'm a gullible one too, so it's like, some of the things I've seen is like, we have insurance because we are stupid and we are people and we make mistakes. Let me put it that way.
Yep. Well, I mean, because if you can keep doing the talking to people thing, right? Keep engaging, follow up, even if they ghost you, that doesn't matter. They're busy too, right? Follow up, put them on your 3-month, 6-month, 9-month schedule. Just reach out, say something, and keep building this list of people, right? Build a list of everybody who expresses interest. It feels like it's possible that in those conversations, you might find someone else who's just as excited about it, who has the experience that you're looking for to help you go to market. Or at least you may find the next stage in the business as you find your hero customers that you can that'll start buying even before it's ready to sell, right? Because that's ideally you want to be able to sell it before it's ready to be bought.
Right. One of the things in the industry, there's the HPBA, Hearth Patio and Barbecue Association. Well, our local chapter, they just announced they're going to try to go in with the chimney sweeps because we don't have really enough people as far as wood stove manufacturers, retailers, and stuff to keep a group. And because when you rent out a venue, you got to make sure all those people show up, and they don't all show up. But most of these wood stove stores are mom and pop shops,
right?
And I've got a couple of them that have returned. One of the first guys, I sent him this box, and this was an old board, old design, but he kept it for the last 5 years. And I said, hey, if you send it back, I'll send you the new technology. So I just got this in the mail a couple days ago, and I'm building him up another box. So he has it running in the store and displayed. And I got 3 octa rings coming back from University of Berkeley, probably in November. And so I'll probably just send one down to him, and he'll probably put it up at his store. He's I wouldn't say a hero customer, but he's receptive to the technology and me sending him stuff. And if anything, that's something.
Right. Well, I mean, keep down that path, right? And you just got to keep talking to more and more and more and more of those people that are in that space. And
yeah, that's kind of what I needed. Just to encourage. I got to get away from the C++ and talk to people.
You can fix and revise and refine the hardware and the product later once you start finding people that'll buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Then your pressures change, and then you realize that, oh wait, I can hire somebody to actually write the code, and I can just drive them instead. And that's the snowball build of the business. But you don't have to have somebody that's knowledgeable about the physics, knowledgeable about the product and why it works and why it matters to write code. Right?
Well, you're right there. Yes, you are correct there. I could have them just working on the screen dynamics.
Right, exactly, right, because there's a whole lot of interface here. There's a whole lot of pieces of this. There's a whole lot, and you've written enough prototype and stuff that somebody could pick it up and work from there, as long as that's their job. You
Yeah.
gotta figure out how to get the business to where they can pay somebody to do that, so you don't have to do it. And you can keep inventing, right, and experimenting
Well,
while they take the product.
I end up inventing, like, the thing. I made a repeater because I had AI said, take this code and make it a repeater, and I made a repeater because sometimes 75 feet is not enough. And so a repeater, well, I really like the AI for that because it did the error checking, so it's not repeating the same thing all the time. It says I've received it, so I'm not going to transmit it again. So it actually, I mean, sometimes AI hits it on the nail on the head, and that makes it. I got the whole accelerator I was working on, was really impressed that I got something working in 24 hours. Well, I don't need to keep you on. You've told me pretty much what I need to do. I can go back to C++ program.
Or you can bundle that up and start working on the next piece. The part you hate, the part you don't want to do.
Well, yeah, see, I have to make more boxes because I have more people that want these boxes. I mean, I call these people beta testers because they actually have years of stove time, and that's what I need. I don't have the data from it, but the actual I can say this guy in Montana is heating his home with a wood stove. He's in the mountains in Montana and still using my product. I mean, that's a sales thing. I mean, that it shows traction. But yeah, the smoke things, just got to find those nanoparticles. I don't know what. I mean, I think when it goes out for peer review, one, I have to put up with a lot of backlash, and two, that's going to get a lot of publicity. But gosh, thanks for helping me find this meeting. I signed up for it, but I may have gotten an email when I did. But I was looking for a link.
The LinkedIn events is not the best. They don't have the best event system in the world. LinkedIn, if you guys want to talk about this, let's talk. Okay, I have opinions.
Well, it sounded it was through an event, or through like Eventbrite or something like that.
No, it's I only use LinkedIn events, so it's whatever email from LinkedIn events that you got when you.
Yeah, I didn't get a email or anything. It's like, wait a minute here, and thanks for responding on the message. And they don't. It's not as like Eventbrite sends a bunch of stuff. LinkedIn's is more like, here, click here, add it to your calendar and use it and use it, but you got to go back to it for the event link. And I send that back to my website where I have control over it easier. Yeah, that once I could type that in, it worked really good.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the meeting.
Good talking to you, and good luck finding your whatever this person is that will help you take the business.
Yeah. I have no idea what this person will look like. There's one person I met on that does send more than 2 sentences. So I'm continuing to talk with her.
Perfect.
All right.
I will poke around within my network of fractionals and see if anybody is kind of interested in that space. But it's people respond, people don't. You know how it is.
Yeah, sometimes it's not what they, once I tell them it's equity only, they're not.
And that's hard for most fractionals who are building their own business, right? They're not in the investment business.
All right.
So
good information. Thank you very much, Dave.
Thanks, Noel. Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye.
Free audio post-production. by alphonic.com.